Hey everyone, welcome to the Electric Supercar channel. This week we're going to finish up a few things at the rear and then we're going to work on interior. Let's get to it. This week I'm going to start out with, got a couple things I need to wire. I need to wire power for my iPad for the display, and then I need to mount, kind of figure out where I want to mount my camera here in the rear. But after that I'm going to go ahead and start with the interior. So I did some vinyl wrapping a while ago, and so I'm going to put that in, but I think there's going to be some fit issues. So we'll see how to deal with that. Okay, I just getting back here to do the camera, and I realized I've got two cameras. This is my backup camera, and then this one will be kind of the dash cam. So I need to figure out a place for that one, and I need to route the cord for that one. This guy, the backup camera, I've got it just mounted here at the bottom, and that way, so like when we flip this down, I've got the cable routed over here. I'll just kind of drill a pass through. The cable's kind of right here behind the license plate. Alright, I got the hole drilled here and everything routed. So when it closes, I don't know if you can see that, but really the wire doesn't even move. So we should be good there. It's not pinched or anything. So here's the next thing I'm going to try. So I took out the springs because it's, I don't know, it took a lot of force to kind of get down, and then you kind of had to hold it down to do that. So I either needed like I'll call it like a kickstand to kind of keep it in place, or something else. So what I'm going to try is I got these guys. See, these are some very strong magnets. So I'm going to put them, drill some holes, mount them in here so they're threaded, so I can kind of attach a screw from the back, kind of suck them up tight, and then that way when it's closed, the magnet will be keeping it closed, and I just have to kind of break the magnet, and then it'll just kind of be very, very loose when it's open. I believe these are like 22-pound magnets each, so again I think that should be plenty of force holding this closed. And I might need to get some spacers, like some stainless steel shim or something, to kind of lessen the amount of force. But I'm going to go ahead and drill some holes, mount them, see how it turns out. Alright, so I had to dial things in, played with some washers. So I think I like this, so I can kind of get it from this side, have it pop free. I've actually staggered them so this side's a little easier than that side, so that I can open it this way. So it kind of, this magnet is spaced a little further away, so I can kind of get behind this one, and then this one almost pries off easier. This side, like I'll start to like bend the license plate. You know, it really doesn't want to come up. So I think this will work well. One other thing I'm looking at as I'm trying to button up the back section here is this is kind of my manual trunk release. And so I want to have that, again, kind of some access hole over here so that if I need to, if for whatever reason I don't have electricity or other reasons why I can't open it that way, this will be the manual release. And again, I think behind the license plate would be a good place. So I'm just going to drill a hole. I'll probably mount a plate so that this one can be mounted to it, and then yeah, I think that should be good. Okay, so I got this one mounted. It's going to be probably something only that I will know. Well, you guys all know. But again, assuming somebody opens this, they're not going to know what that is. The other thing I'm going to work on here is this. So the charge port here, I've got it a little close on this side, so it's kind of challenging to open. And then the other thing is on top here, when I go to plug it in, it's actually got a little thing that sticks up, kind of goes up and down to kind of latch on. So I need to create more room up here as well. So I'm going to go ahead and kind of enlarge some of those areas. All right, got things kind of situated. So I'll show you how it works here. So I open this, and that one opens. Close it. This one goes like so. And it's very firm. I may want to have it be not quite so firm, but I'd rather have it be on the firm side than the loose side. And then I'll show you the charge cable. So this guy, like so. So I'm hoping that's it. I think I'm just going to leave it there for now. Alright, so I figured since I was back here, mount the wing, I'd try and get things fit just right. So this side's looking really good. This side is close. Now when I say close, I can't do it any better. Now when I say that, what it is, I don't know if you can tell, but the panel itself, so this one's like, I'm gonna get to a level where you can see. But yeah, it's like this one looks really good there, and then on this side it just kind of like flips up. So yeah, I know fiberglass can kind of move around a little bit just when it's in storage and things. So I don't know if that's what happened or if it's just not quite right. But so we'll mount it here, and then what we'll do is kind of do body work to kind of get this to line up. So I'll go ahead and get this thing mounted. All right, so we got this kind of cleaned up. I got the took out the springs, got magnets on there, got the charge port mounted, got my little secret trunk latch, and kind of remounted the wing. So I think we're going to go on to the interior for now. Okay, here is the center console. I did some vinyl wrapping on this a while ago. I can post a little link to the video. But essentially this has been in storage for a long time. And so I'm going to get it out and see how well it fits. Yeah, I got a feeling things aren't going to work out just how I want them. The other thing is when I kind of tried to put panels in before, they didn't quite fit, meaning, well, I'll show you when we get there. All right, so here's the center console. Here are some of the things I think I'm going to need to do. So I kind of made some cutouts there for my hazard switch and park brake, but I don't want to like, anyways, I think with the connectors I've got, that's not going to work. I'm going to have that be like a full-on slot. The other thing is, I think when I welded in for the seat belts, I think I've got a notch out here. Alright, so if you watch the channel, you've probably seen the center console. It works really well. I made connectors on the back, so basically I can take off a few connectors and then take the whole center console out. So that's what I'll do, and then I will put in the dash. I also think I need to take off the windshield to do that. The other thing I've not done yet is I haven't mounted a couple of these electrical ports, just because I didn't want to get them in the way. So when I put the dash on, I didn't want them to happen to be too high or too low or whatever and cause issues. So that'll be another thing I'll do while I'm at it. So I took this one out. That's what the back side looks like with all the plugs. And front side looks pretty good. So I'll go ahead and put it in place and show you what we're dealing with. Alright, here are the pieces. I'll show you some of the fit issues we have. So this one I think actually is okay. It's I don't want to call it on the loose side, but it actually fits. This is very far from fitting. It's just too dang wide. So I may just kind of take the vinyl wrapping off and kind of sand it, grind it down, and rewrap it. But it's like, yeah, it's just not close. And if you weren't around, my original plan, they've got some, I don't know, I'll call it mounting holes. There's clearly nothing to mount to, at least on this side, but they had some holes, and so I don't know if this is thought as to hold the stereo system or quite what. So I'll have to figure that out. But anyways, I had these planned. I've got some little button covers that kind of match the same vinyl. So we'll see if we do that or not. The other thing is this one, the way the car's designed is this, instead of like a glove box that typically drops down, this one is supposedly like pivots up. I don't know if I love that. There is like a bottom part, so I might just see if I can switch that to pivot down. And when I say that, as always, there's no mounting hardware, no instructions, So just kind of making it up. So I'd make it up either way. I think I like the idea of just kind of traditional glove box. This one's kind of okay. It's just, whole thing just needs to shift back just a titch. But that's kind of what this looks like. This one I think I mentioned, it's like these two up here. I kind of have them just go into one plug, and originally I kind of cut out for just to make some room, but I'm just gonna have to kind of route that all out. And then this is the other jumbled mess. So let me do that real quick and we'll kind of check the fit on this one. All right, so cut that place out, able to set this down. Again, this one doesn't quite fit either. This whole panel is supposed to go down to this level, so it's kind of sitting up, I don't know, ½ inch too high. So I'm thinking for this panel what I might do, this is kind of joined at the back just by a little piece, and up here I'm wondering about maybe just even call it slitting it so this whole thing becomes a little more flexible, and then I can, if I want to, I can reinforce it by putting like a metal bar in between, kind of laminating that, fiberglassing that in place. But yeah, I don't know, it's just a little frustrating to kind of get these panels. The panels look pretty good, but they're just, they don't fit. All right, so I put the stereo system in, and yeah, we're gonna have to do a few things. So number one, this guy can't sit down far enough to allow the stereo to kind of be in place. Well, for this one to scoot back. So anyways, this one needs to go down, which means I just need to widen this. I think the easiest way to do that is just kind of split it and let it flex open. And again, if it's too flimsy or if it's bothering me, I'll just kind of put a rod across and fiberglass that in place. The other one is this on top. Well, it just looks pretty bad. So I'm gonna probably take the vinyl off this one. This one's the one that needs the most work, and kind of get things fitting just right, and then I will rewrap it. All right, so I notched out the main dash to kind of allow it to flex a little bit more. So I was able to sink this down, and now kind of like it sits well with the stereo. So I'm just going to unwrap this vinyl part on top and kind of make sure I profile it so it looks just great, and then I'll rewrap it. I guess the other thing I need to do is I need to get another hole back here to fish all the wires through. One other note I realized is I've got, in the frame, I've got kind of these metal chassis bars that come around kind of either side of this. So it's really not going to have any room to flex in anyway, and this will be bolted to the floor. So I think we're good. All right, we got this one all cleaned up. I think I've mentioned this before, but mineral spirits. So paint thinner with mineral spirits cleans this up pretty good. You kind of let it soak for a little bit, and then when you kind of rub it, it kind of comes up in like little balls and things. But then it's off. We will look at what it takes to reprofile this to fit the dash. Okay, so here is the panel. Here's the problem. So it just plain is too wide. I mean, just, I don't know, like at least1/4 inch. And so what I'm wondering is, the rails are not super wide. So I'm thinking that I might have to sand so far that I get rid of the rails. When I say that, I can re-fiberglass if I want to, or maybe I don't need to. Down here, I'll have to kind of put the stereo in to see how I want that to fit. Looking at the stereo, so again, the stereo sits in fine. This piece actually has a, I don't know what you want to call it, like a reverse lip. So it kind of bends back around. And looking at just how high that would make things sit up, I'm almost thinking I just want that, let's call it flat. I'd have it kind of end right, probably just have it end right where the stereo is. So I think that's what I like, because I'll just have the fabric kind of wrap around, so kind of have a nice front edge here, but I don't see any reason why it needs to be up or why it needs to bend back around, because again, it just makes it sit up pretty tall. I don't know, I'll kind of grind in sections so I don't get too far ahead of myself. I guess I'll also say from overhead, again, this has kind of a, I don't know, a cup shape, and the stereo's kind of straight across. So again, I think if I want to get everything to kind of look pretty good, I'll do some profiling on this piece. Okay, so here's what I've decided for this one. Again, I need to kind of shave both sides, but I do think I want to keep, I'll call it a ledge, otherwise it'll just be like a floppy panel. So what I'll do first is I'll build up some layers of fiberglass on the edge, kind of on both edges, and then I'll kind of grind into them, take away so it'll fit. Alright, I gave this a test fit. I can kind of press it in, but it's still a little on the wide side, and then again, if I wrap it at all, it'll be even wider. So I'm going to go through this whole process again, kind of build up another layer or two, and kind of grind it down. The other thing is on this front here, I think I mentioned before, but the radio is just straight across, and this has kind of got an arc, so I'm going to flatten that as well. Alright, so we're fitting much better. It's kind of an easy fit in. The only thing I need to do is kind of right on the corners and just need to kind of notch out a little bit because it can't sit down all the way, so it's a tight fit there. So I'll go ahead and do that. I might just take a titch more off the sides to account for when we put the vinyl on. But yeah, it's looking good. Alright, now that we have this fitting, I need to put kind of a little radius on the edge here, because the vinyl doesn't go well over a sharp corner. And then the other thing is the front edge, which is this edge. It had some holes or some countersinks for some bolts, but there's really nothing to bolt it to. The stereo's right under that, and there's nothing to bolt to. So I'm going to go ahead and fill those in, and I think at that point we'll be ready to wrap. Okay, I got this guy all cleaned up. Before I wrap it, I'm actually going to put this in place on the dash and kind of drill holes. And on the dash, I need to kind of put some of the I think they call it fiberglass nuts, so I can fiberglass those in. Because this will be holes for screws, and then the other side is going to have those nuts. Fiberglassed in those nuts there, so I've got a good mounting point to, I'll call it the top front surface. There's really nothing in the back. The radio's got some holes here on the side to mount, so I'm going to drill some holes into the side on both sides to mount that. And then I also am going to drill similar holes to mount the back side. I'll call it the back side of that piece. Alright, so I've got the stereo in. The challenge I'm going to have is I just have no idea kind of where those holes are. I'll do the best I can kind of at measuring, but I'm going to be, this is kind of like, I'll call it a U shape, but I can't really get the drill like in and through just one side. So I'm going to have to drill through both sides, and yeah, we'll see how close we can get. Alright, I've got 2 screws in from each side. So again, this guy is now attached. It's not going anywhere. And so this one will go there, get screwed in there. I just need to figure out how I want to attach this side. All right, got the fasten points here. Let's as well as up top. And I'll just kind of put one of the snaps on so you can see. So I will go ahead and like wrap it, and then that will be an exposed point that you can access, but then put that on, covers it all up. Okay, try to get out of the light. It's kind of blinding on this white background, but pretty good. So again, here's the little snap covers. Again, I think it looks pretty good. Got this all wrapped. So I will have to take it apart. I forgot to cut a hole for all the wires for the stereo. Now that we have the stereo secure, this panel is in place. The next one I want to work on is this one. It does have a few fasten points, kind of like here. So depending on how quickly this goes, this one might be easier or might be hard. Okay, so made a little mistake, not a big one, but put in some rib nuts for some number 10 screws, and the ones that work well with these kind of button snap things are number 8 screws. So anyways, I'll end up drilling these out, and I think that what that means is I'll flip it upside down and do some of those fiberglass nuts. All right, here it is, kind of all complete. Just show you here the again, this is with the cap, without. So you just have this guy, and you can just snap it on. All right, so we got it all done. Looks really good. Okay, we got out the kind of dash here for the gauge cluster, but we're going to save that one for another time. We are going to leave the gauge cluster for now. I do have a design kind of all ready to 3D print to hold the iPad in place. So if you guys know of any tricks or tips or companies to work with, let me know in the comments. That does it for this week. See you next week.